Well, now, this is the time in the show that any chance of peace breaking out kind of goes by the wayside, because we veer towards a bit of criticism towards Arteta and Arsenal. At the moment, when you glance at the Premier League, Liverpool have a 6-point lead, having played 21 games. Arsenal and Forest on 44 points. They have both played a game more. That's where we're at. And at the weekend, we saw what happened. We saw Arsenal having a 2-goal lead against Aston Villa. That was clawed back, and Villa left with a point. 2-2 was the final score. Jamie Carragher, I haven't met him, but I have met Jamie Carragher.
He flagged it to you.
I love that. Carragher in his Telegraph column this morning put it that way. Have we already witnessed the peak years of Mikel Arteta's Arsenal reign? This will either be one of the greatest seasons in the club's history, ending a 21-year wait for the Premier League title, or a campaign which ends amid a highly charged post-season review into how they squandered their best chance to become champions in 2 decades. It's quite heavy, isn't it? It's quite scathing. He says there is yet to be a performance, an Arsenal performance, that leaves you thinking they look like the next champions. And he says the balance of the squad is not right. Do you think that, Martin, when you look at them? There is yet to be a performance that leaves you thinking they look like the next champions?
I've seen plenty of performances this year where I've been really convinced when they've had everybody available. It seems like it's a sniper from Jamie Carragher. Sometimes I wonder whether he actually was a Liverpool fan. The amount of rows he's got into with Van Dijk and Salah and various players, and suddenly now here he is, championing his former club as that Arsenal's demise. I think really we have a manager in the shape of Arteta who's only just beginning. I think that they've been, the last 2 or 3 seasons, they've been up there with Man City. Man City have now fallen away. Of course, Liverpool, I don't see it's a surprise that Liverpool are where they are. We know that they were in a 3-horse race this time last year. It doesn't surprise me that they're now worthy leaders right now. But I don't think it's time really to dismantle the challenges of Arsenal.
Is anything he's saying is unfair?
We'll go into detail what he's saying. We'll go through each point.
Well, I detailed it to a fair extent. Have we already witnessed the peak years of Mikel Arteta's Arsenal reign?
I don't believe that.
Is he right, though? This will either be one of the greatest seasons in the club's history, ending a 21-year wait for the Premier League title, or a campaign which ends amid a highly charged post-season review into how they squandered the best chance to become champions in 2 decades.
Well,
now, is it that black or white?
But no, I think Liverpool, what we're up against and seeing in Liverpool is they would be worthy winners, Jim, if they win it this year. They're a team full of absolute talent. I don't think there's a massive crisis at Arsenal suddenly because they don't win it and Liverpool do. Of course, there'd be a review and there would be changes because there'd be players coming in the front line. There's no doubt about that. And Arteta will put the pieces in the jigsaw. But I don't see there's a massive issue and that suddenly Arsenal fall off a cliff. No, I don't see that at all.
I mean, you've said you've seen lots of performances that have led you to believe that Arsenal could end up champions this season. Yeah. Like what ones in particular?
I mean, recently winning the Porto game, Champions League, I thought they were absolutely outstanding away. They went to Atalanta, who are running away in the Italian league. They look really comfortable. There's been lots of convincing performances.
I think he's right. I think they've been imperious in Europe, but they haven't been in the Premier League. I think Jamie Carragher's point is not about their European escapades. It's about the manner in which their performances in the Premier League are suggesting. I don't think he's right, by the way. I don't think Arsenal will have some big review at the end of the season if they don't win the league and persecute Arteta with the idea that he squandered it, because Martin's right to allude to the fact that Liverpool have performed very well. It was not an unreasonable expectation, despite what Martin's trying to advance, that Arsenal's next logical step was to try and win the Premier League. That doesn't rule out Liverpool. There were many, many questions about what Liverpool were going to do. No one tipped Liverpool to win the Premier League that I know of that was perhaps objective about it. You didn't tip Liverpool.
We all thought City would do it again.
I thought Arsenal would do it because I felt it was a
logical... I thought City would.
Yeah, fine. So it's a surprise to a lot of people that Liverpool have operated the way they're at. I don't think that the Arsenal board, insofar as I don't know what the makeup of it is more, Edo's out the door now, so I don't know what Kroenke's direct relationship is like, Josh Kroenke, with the chief executive on to the manager. But I don't think that if Arsenal were to finish inside the top 4, that there would be Arteta being fired. Do I think that Jamie Carragher might have a point that his best days are... His best opportunities might have been missed.
Peak years of Arteta's reign.
Do you genuinely believe that?
I don't think he's at his peak years because he can't possibly be. He's only 40-odd years of age. He's learning the trade as he goes along. So I don't think he's at his peak years, but he might have missed the opportunity to win the Premier League with Arsenal because I see Manchester City getting stronger. I see them, again, going back that cycle. I think they'll come back round again. I think Liverpool will kick on with Slot now because they've shown you what they're capable of. You've now got Chelsea beginning to get themselves together. So they're all of a sudden...
No winning 5, but getting themselves together.
Doesn't matter. If they win tonight, they'll be 4th in the league. So they're getting themselves together. This time last year, they were a car crash. This year, there's been exponential improvement. I don't think we can argue reasonably, irrespective of what our motivations may be.
Are Arsenal not just a couple of signings away from being maybe Premier League title winners?
Yes, I agree. But let's see them make...
There's a lot good, isn't there, in the Arsenal team?
No one's disputing
the foundations are there, the defence.
But don't disappear into the sort of boxing promoter world where only praise is something you can countenance with Arsenal.
No, I think Liverpool so far are worthy leaders of the Premier League. But I don't think that means that everything that Arsenal do is suddenly a disaster.
Carragher does say the balance of the squad, Arsenal squad, is not right. Is he right about that?
There's a number of fullbacks, but you've got Tierney there, Zinchenko there. The youngster Lewis Skelly now has come through. Calafiori also is a left back, but centre half. But then again, it's been a good job there's been that number of players there because they've needed all of them. There's been, I think, 13, 14 different collections of a back four for Arsenal this season.
I would suggest to you, and it might be slightly controversial, it may be controversial to Martin, irrespective of how brilliant Salah is in this Liverpool side, I still think Liverpool could win the league if Salah wasn't playing. I do not think that Arsenal can win the league without Saka. And that must mean that in other parts of the team there's a lack of balance. I thought Odegaard was the missing link when he was out of the side.
But that was a huge victory, wasn't it, for the Liverpool fans when Saka was deemed to be injured for 3 months.
But it's also an indication of where Arsenal need to have more strength and to have a
But then
more
Salah,
team.
55% of the goals for Liverpool come through Salah. So if you take Salah out, you're saying it. It may be a throwaway comment. We've not seen that situation. Salah's never injured.
But I'm prepared.
And I wouldn't want him to be injured.
I'm prepared to pin my colours to the mast for what they're worth. Yeah. And suggest to you that if they took Salah out the side, I think Liverpool could still win this league. Well, I don't think Arsenal can win the league without Saka.
There's Jack picking up on one of your points, Martin. There are always a few transfers away, but they haven't shown the ability to make those transfers. Is that fair?
Well, they need goals, don't they? And they're not quite getting it from what they've got there right now. But they're probably 6 or 7 goals behind Liverpool. But these amount to, a lot of points. 6 points right now and maybe another 3. Everyone's saying Everton won't get anything against Liverpool.
The problem for us with this conversation with Martin is Martin sometimes lives in Never Never Land. And that
the questions I were being asked were ludicrous questions from Carragher suggesting that Arsenal are in crisis. They're nowhere near a crisis.
He didn't say that.
If they weren't to win the league this year.
He didn't say that. He said there would be an opportunity for the board to suggest to Arteta that he may have squandered things. But you would have had Gareth Southgate in situ at England until the cows come home, never winning anything. And Arteta, somewhere along the line...
Didn't he reach a couple of finals, no?
But we have to win things. Ultimately, we have to win things in the end. Yeah, if you get to finals, you have to win. If you keep from finishing second, you're going to be first loser. And that means nothing. Nobody looks back. Who was second in 1975? Who knows and who cares?
Fulham in the FA Cup to West Ham.
That's not league, is it?
You asked me a cup competition, no?
No, in the league. That'd be silly. So
who won the league?
So I think it was Derby County, wasn't it? So if you look at it, and say, where does someone finish second? Somewhere along the line, Arteta, unless Arsenal reverted to a participation club like Wenger had for a period of time.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.